We say that this is the explanation, this hadith, this is the explanation of a modern Western feminist revolution which is taking the world by storm for the last 100 years and more. We say that Dajjal is the mastermind of the modern Western feminist revolution. You may differ with us because you are brainwashed. So your differences with us makes no difference to us because you're incapable of rational understanding when Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam has spoken in the way that he has spoken. Don't be angry with me tonight. I have a job to do. Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam went on to describe for us the implications and the consequences of that modern Western feminist revolution. Listen to what he had to say. And this is Kalamul Anbiya. They say in one sentence, the prophets of Allah, in one sentence, that which will take us hours to explain. The angel came to him, Jibreel alayhi salam, just before he died. The angel came in human form into the masjid and asked the 5 questions. I don't have to repeat them, Puchum, because you know them. And question number 5 was, what are the alamat as-sa'ah? What are the signs of the last day? And among the answers that he gave was this: أن تلد الأمة ربتها, that a slave woman would give birth to her mistress. From this hadith we know that there is slavery in Akhirul Zaman. And it is a worse slavery than they experience in Medina. Because in Medina, Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam responded to that slavery in the Arab economy by saying these words. He said, give your slave to eat what you yourself eat, and give your slave the clothes to wear that you yourself wear. So this slave is not subhuman, not an animal. This slave is a human being whose humanity is recognized and respected. And so when you dismantle slavery, like freeing a slave, if you commit a particular sin, you have to free a slave. When the slave is freed, then the slave can be absorbed into the society as an equal member of the society. And one generation later you will not know who was slave and who was not. Huh? This is slavery as we knew. The United States of America waged a civil war 100 years ago or more to dismantle slavery. And the descendants of the slaves are today still in permanent poverty, while the slave masters are still permanently rich. Not in Islam. This slavery which is going to come in Akhirul Zaman is worse than that slavery. What is going to cause the slavery in Akhirul Zaman? so that now we'll have this woman who is a slave? The answer is again Dajjal. He said, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, that in the age of Dajjal, the world will witness kathratul riba, the universal prevalence of riba. Riba is something so bad, so bad, so bad, that when the Kaaba was washed away in a flood, and the idol-worshipping Arabs had to reconstruct the Kaaba, we were told in the Sirah that they laid down the law: we will not take any money from any banker. Oh, not banker. No riba money. No riba money will be accepted. Today, the money lender is the banker. When time comes to get the donation for the masjid, brother, just write the check. That was then. And they worship idols. And this is now, and we say we worship Allah. Riba is so terrible that the very last revelation of the Quran to come down was on riba. The very last one. And in that revelation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala declared war. فَأَذَنُوا بِحَرْبٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. War from Allah, war from His Messenger. And therefore we, you and I, have an obligation to wage war, to eliminate riba. Riba is so bad that Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam cursed all four. And he said that they are all equally guilty. The one who takes riba, the one who gives riba, the one who records the transaction, and the two witnesses. And yet, we go to the bank and we borrow money on interest to build a house, to buy a house. Shame on us. And we go to the bank to borrow money on interest to buy a car. Wait a minute. Some people make Hajj now with a bank loan on interest. Shame on this ummah. Shame on this ummah. The curse of the Prophet is upon you. Does that not affect you? The Prophet said, and of course you know riba is borrowing and lending money on interest. But there's another form of riba as well. Here it is. Got it right here. You must have seen this sometime in your life. A piece of paper. And you print a picture on it. And the scholars of Islam must have the freedom to preach Islam. If we don't have the freedom to preach Islam, then we must make hijrah to a place where we have the freedom to preach. You take a piece of paper and you print a picture and you put a number on it. And then you give to this piece of paper an entirely fictitious value. What is fictitious in Bahasa? Huh? Huh? Mohim, Rohin, Dongin, whatever it is. You give to this piece of paper an entirely fictitious value. You have created wealth out of nothing. Huh? Did you hear that? But only Allah does that. Only Allah does that. So now you are committing shirk. And when we accept it and we use it, we are also now a part of the shirk. Perhaps now we might understand the hadith that, we just finished this, that 999 out of every 1,000 will enter into the hellfire. This paper is part of the cause for Indonesia being in slavery today, and Bangladesh being in slavery today, and Pakistan being in slavery today, and Egypt being in slavery today. This functions as an instrument of riba. The Prophet said, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, whether riba is big or small, the result is still the same: poverty and destitution. Permanent poverty and permanent destitution. The rich permanently rich and growing richer. The poor permanently poor and going down into slavery. But we have this subject for 2 nights from now, Tuesday night. Someone will make an announcement where that lecture will take place on the prohibition of riba in the Quran and Sunnah, so we don't need to explain riba anymore tonight. But because of riba, she is a slave woman. And now we want to understand why did he say, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, that a slave woman will give birth to her mistress. For this, we have to go again to the hadith, in which Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam prophesied about Akhirul Zaman, that women would dress like men. That's an amazing thing, huh? That women would actually dress like men one day? Would we ever live to see a woman in a jacket? Would we ever live to see a woman in blue jeans? Would we ever live to see a woman with a tie? Huh? Wake up. It's already here. It's already here. Women are already dressing like men, and when they do dress like men, either they don't know of what the Prophet said, or they don't care. They don't care. No. Why? Because they're brainwashed. They're following Dajjal, and the only way you can stop them from following Dajjal is getting a piece of rope and tying them up. Why would Dajjal take women and get them to dress like men? Why? The answer is that Dajjal wants to challenge what religion and society has constantly proclaimed for thousands of years, that men and women are functionally different. Dajjal wants to say that all the prophets of Allah were wrong, and all the religions were wrong, and men, those brutes, were wrong. And we, modern Western civilization, have come to liberate women by saying to them, there is no functional difference between men and women. And so anything that a man does, a woman must have the freedom to do it. It sounds real nice when you're brainwashed. And so now she puts on the working woman's clothes, and she goes to work and faces the morning traffic like everybody else. Don't be angry with me. Don't be angry with me. I have a job to do.